So, welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast. Dawn, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to be here. I'm very excited. I love talking about all things beauty.
Sounds great. So, Dawn, tell the listeners about you and what started you on the makeup journey.
Yes. Okay. Well, I am the founder and CEO of makeupclasses.com and also Dawn Till Dusk Cosmetics. I started in this industry when I was very young. I was about 22 years old, and got involved in makeup kind of as a default. I really needed to find a job, and I had been going to school for broadcasting in New Jersey. I dropped out of school because I had my daughter, but I saw an ad in a newspaper way back when. That was what was that, like 96? And I started working for Glamour Shots, and I loved it. I did well at it. I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. In fact, I told myself someday I'm going to own a business like that, which was pretty incredible because I was being paid $4.25 an hour. So I don't know how I was about to do that. But long story short, I got into television in 1998. I worked for Sally Jesse Raphael, and I worked for her for 4 years. And then I went on to Maury Povich, and those were my full-time jobs. In between, I also freelanced for different celebrities, TV networks, and I built a bridal business. And one day, my one of my bridal clients, who I was consulting with her and her bridesmaid, she said, "Dawn, have you ever thought about teaching?" And I thought to myself, well, no, but what would be the difference between teaching two people and 10 people or 20 people? So I opened a studio. I started teaching, and the business really took off to the point where I resigned from the Maury Povich show, and I started traveling all over the country, teaching my 40-hour class, and which has developed into books. I have a second book that's being edited. This is my first book, the Makeup Artist Design book, which has all of my patent pending
Right.
information about anatomy. So I teach 50 face shapes, 36 lip, 32 eye combinations. That's 57,600 ways to do makeup. We really believe, myself, my team, and I, we believe that this is the best makeup artistry book on the market when it comes to anatomy. If you really want to learn makeup for anatomy, we call it the anatomical makeup method. And I'm excited about it. I use it to teach my students. We bring it to cosmetology schools all over the United States, to trade shows when I do speaking. So that's me in a nutshell. That's the 3-minute elevator speech.
Sounds excellent. So, Dawn, you do makeup. Is it for all skin types or?
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Mhm.
That's one thing that I always say to my students, because people come in one of three colors. You're either red, yellow, or green. That's your undertone. And then you match according to the undertone where you are on the infinite spectrum of skin color. Are you on the light side, medium, dark, wherever you fall in between. So in my studio, we custom blend makeup. And one of the things that I say to all my audiences is I really believe that the beauty industry is probably one of the most racist industries that you could come upon, because they really market to groups, and they tell women, like, well, you're special because of this, or you're special because of that. We're all special. It doesn't matter. Um, I can match any skin tone. I don't care how light or dark you are. With my method, and all of my students that have gone through my 40-hour, my 20-hour programs, they don't have any problem matching anyone's complexion. Yeah, that's a real myth in the beauty industry. And as long as the beauty industry holds on to that myth, that's one way they can make money, is they put you in a box and they tell you, well, because you're this, you need that, so you have to buy this, right? And that's not the truth. I could custom blend anyone.
Sounds great. Wow. So, Dawn, tell us a little bit about the Dawn Till Dusk collection. Is that a new
Yes.
collection or?
Yeah, so my Dawn Till Dusk collection is also based on my patent pending method, where we are the only, well, first of all, I'm the only makeup artist in the United States that has a patent pending with makeup artistry.
Mhm.
So we do all, it includes all of the anatomy and also makeup for lighting. So our makeup is organized according to the light that you're under. I always say that's your North Star, no pun intended, but you always have to consider the light source that you're under. And that light source or that color temperature dictates what colors work for what type of light. Some colors recess under certain types of light, and some colors come forward. And that's what I teach in my classes. So I did the homework for them or for you or anybody that buys makeup. There are 7 lighting conditions. So depending on where you're going, what type of environment you're going to be in, that dictates the type of light that you're under. So we're really excited to bring that to the mass market. And Dawn Till Dusk not only has to do with lighting, but it also has to do with longevity. So we look for products that have amazing ingredients that will hold on to the skin and last. Of course, makeup's made to come off. So anybody that tells you like, oh, it'll be on for days, obviously they're, not telling the truth. It's made to come off. And of course, my name's in the title too.
So Dawn, with the book that your first book, it's
Yeah,
called the Makeup Artist Design Book. Is
fine
that,
book. Yes, yeah, yeah.
so where can the listeners get that book? And you said you do have classes. Exactly what do the classes entail? You said it's 40 hours. Is
40
it?
hours. Yeah. So I started teaching, I think it was like in 2000, 2001, and putting my class together. It evolved over time pretty quickly. So it's typically a 1 week course where you learn all about lighting, color theory. I do a very deep dive into color theory, how to match foundation, how to custom lens. Also, all of the anatomy. You learn how to read the face like a book so you can do the person's makeup anatomically. So, one of the things that I don't teach, which I really don't think makes much logical sense, is I don't teach looks because looks change, trend changes. So if you go to a school that's teaching you a particular look in a year, it may be irrelevant. So you need to have confidence to be able to work on anyone's face, any skin color, any age, any skin texture, any anatomy, right? 50 face shapes, 36 lip, 32 eye, 57,600 ways to do makeup. Which one are you? Right. And that's what you're able to do when you work on your clients. You have confidence, so you could work on anyone's face. It does not matter because you read the face like a book. And then, of course, we end it with the photo shoot. In fact, we were the first company in the 2000s to ever do a photo shoot in a makeup class. No one was doing it in the US. We were the first ones. And then when people saw that that was a really great idea to have a class and then do a professional photo shoot, now everybody does it.
I guess you started it off.
Yeah, it was a fun trend setting. Yeah, I could definitely take credit for that for sure.
So, Dawn, sometimes on TikTok and Facebook, you see those transformation that people will
Mm.
show the picture before and then they'll show the after picture, and it looks like two different people. Do you do that kind of makeup, or is just the
We
is
do, we do. We don't take pictures though of before and afters.
okay?
In fact, I was just talking to my best friend about this yesterday. Why we don't, because I don't like to embarrass or humiliate someone or take a bad photo and then take a good one to make myself look better or my artists look better. I don't think that's fair. And quite frankly, most of our clients do not allow us to photograph them. We put up as much as we can. I mean, I do have thousands of photos, but a lot of times people don't want pictures up. It's just a different type of clientele, I guess.
So what's happening in the makeup studio right now? What events? What workshops are you coming up with? Tell us about that.
One of the reasons why I don't have much of a voice is because I was just teaching a class. When I teach, I go straight through and I don't stop. I have so much, 29 years of information. So we're always doing ongoing 20-hour, 40-hour classes. We also have a photo shoot class coming up August 22nd. I know in the fall we have some fall inspired classes for all ages, even children too. So that's another thing you won't see on our social media or on our website. We do not take pictures of kids. I'm very protective of young girls, especially because makeup and children are a predator's dream. I know a lot of cosmetic companies don't consider that a problem, but it really is. So I'm very much aware of what goes on online, so we protect our kids. So you'll see like stock photography, but we do a lot of kids stuff. We do prom, makeup, but we do a lot of parties and also fun makeup classes for kids.
Nice. So, where can the listeners get your first book, and when is your second book coming out? Is it out already?
It's
Or
not that's a great question. The second book is being edited, so we have to, I would say in about a year. And that's all on lighting, matching skin, also the anatomy. This book you could find on our website, which is makeupclasses.com, and you can order the book. The cool thing about when you order the book, in fact, we just had it this past Sunday. If you order the book, you get a 2-hour facial anatomy class for free that I teach. So my next class coming up is in November. So if you order the book, even if you're in another area, we do Zoom or FaceTime. This way you could listen in on the in-person class. This past Sunday, we had a lovely group of women. They thoroughly enjoyed it. They learned so much. There was a girl that attended the class that had gone to another school. And she said, I never learned this. And I was in a school for like 5 weeks, and we never learned facial anatomy like this before. So she was really impressed by it, but she was also a little upset that she wasted her money learning looks that she knows. She said, I can't find a job because I only worked on two people in the class. And I don't know how to work on all these face shapes. So hopefully I'll see her in the future for a 20 or 40-hour class. But that's a bonus. If you buy the book, you get an anatomy class for free.
wow, nice. So where can the listeners get in touch with you? Where can they sign up for classes? Where can they get more information about events and workshop and stuff like that?
Well, I'm totally accessible. If you go on makeupclasses.com, you'll see all of our social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Our phone number is right on the site. You could get in touch with me and talk to me directly. And we're located in Nutley, New Jersey. So we are a brick and mortar. We are an actual studio slash store. You could walk on in anytime. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 to 7, Saturday, 9 to 5, and Sunday, 12 to 4. So we are very accessible. If you just want to meet me, get a book, I could sign the book, take a photo with you. Or if you want to share anything about your career or you need help with your career. I love sharing and helping people. And I'll also be in San Antonio the end of September. I will be at Premiere San Antonio, which is a big trade show, and I will be speaking that Monday, teaching my client interview sheet, which is another topic.
Wow. So do you also do Zoom classes or is it just in person?
Right now, it's just in person, but we are filming. In fact, we started filming yesterday, a video series so people could learn online. And I'm also open to doing Zoom classes. So if someone wanted to learn live with me, of course, we would do that too. Um, but I encourage people to come to our studio, or if you go on the website, you'll see that we travel all over the US. So I'm in major cities across the United States, the last quarter of this year and then into next year. So check out the calendar, the map of the US, and you can see all of the cities that we have coming up. And I think makeup artistry is something that you should really do in person. You need to work on people. But I understand the online courses are very alluring. They're usually cheaper. It's a lot easier. You work in your home. But the reality is that's not the reality. The reality is you're going to go out, you're going to work on a stranger, and you're going to have to know what their anatomy is, what the lighting is, how to properly set up, proper sanitation. Um, so many important skills that you really need to learn in person. So if you could do it in person, if you could make the class in person, that's the best thing for you. That's yeah.
Mm. So, Dawn, if somebody's watching this podcast and they're in Brazil, and are you planning on extending to other countries, or you just want to stay based in New Jersey?
Well, the interesting thing is when I was teaching in 2004 through '07, and I was traveling all over the US and I was doing a lot of classes in New Jersey. That's when my business was really took off. I've had students from every continent except Antarctica. People flew in from all over the country. We didn't have Zoom, we didn't have YouTube back then. So they literally bought plane tickets, booked hotel rooms, and stayed for the whole week and took my classes from Japan, Europe, South America, Australia. People would come all over. I remember a student in class, I don't recall where she was from, but we were like midweek and she raised her hand and she said, I pawned my wedding ring to come and take this class. That's how strongly I feel about it. And also, my best referral, this is a really wild story. I was teaching a class in DC. I remember this, a young woman in DC. We were like mid, because everybody's comfortable. We're all friends and things are going great. And she says to me, Dawn, do you know how I found out about this class? And I said, Oh, no, I don't. And she said, Well, I was in the military and I was in Saudi Arabia in the desert. She was a mechanic and she was working on a truck with another young woman. And this other woman told her that she went to a makeup class that I taught.
Mhm.
And that's how she was referred in the middle of the desert
Wow.
in a truck. So, that's a good
Amazing.
referral. You know you're doing a good job when people are talking about you in like 120-degree weather.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so humbled by that. And I really felt the blessing, like, you know what? I'm on to something. This thing works. This works. The makeup for lighting works. It's not fluff. It's not a look. It's something that is timeless. See, this book will be around. Okay, Cleanne, this will be around when I'm dead. This this will still be used by students when I'm long, long gone. So
So,
because
Dawn, who's
on
the who's
geometry.
the picture on there? Is that
Who do you think it is?
I was gonna say you, but I'm like, let me don't say. Is that you?
It is.
Kind of, yeah.
It's funny because because I have makeup, my hair's down. I have no makeup on in this picture. My girlfriend Veronica, you'll see the credits. She did all the photography in the book. And I said, Veronica, I just need a headshot. And when I walked in, she's like, What the heck? I just had my hair slicked back, no makeup on. I said, That's it, just snap me natural. So this is me with nothing on in black and white. I don't think she retouched anything. She might have. I mean, maybe a little bit. And then the illustrator, Victoria, she was the one that went in and added all like the graffiti type colors and things like that. So and this was not my idea to be on the cover. This was my husband's idea. He said I should be on it. Um, but yeah, so there I am.
Yeah, it looks great. I was gonna ask, I'm like, should I ask if that's so? No, but it looks really
I
great.
was at I think it was a trade show, and someone was looking at the cover. I think it was a trade show, and someone says, "Oh, you know, you really look like the girl that's on the front of the book." And I didn't say anything. I wasn't like, "Oh, that's me." I was just like, "Oh, yeah, thank you."
Lovely, nice. So Dawn, if you have any last words for the listeners, what would you say to someone who wants to pursue a career in as a makeup artist? What would you say to them?
I would, I would definitely say, obviously, educate yourself, and it doesn't have to necessarily be with me, but learn as much as you can. Always be a forever student and become an expert in your craft. Like, because I'm obsessed with what I do. And people, once I start teaching, they'll say, they're like, wow, you get in this like zone, because I'm so focused and so passionate about what I've written and done for the past 29 years. So my advice would be get obsessed, be passionate, love what you do, and never, ever, ever give up. Never give up.
Beautiful advice. So Dawn, it was such a pleasure having you on
Thank you.
the podcast.
Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
God bless you. And I hope that your podcast just grows and grows and grows. And of course, will promote and get the word out.
Thanks. Thank you, Dawn.